American Water Polo.
Hi, this is Damon Newman from American Water Polo, and we're here today with head coach Austin Ringheim of the men's team at MIT to better understand the college recruiting process. How you doing, Austin?
Good. How are you, Damon?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking the time. Um, so tell me a little bit about yourself and more about MIT.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I grew up in Southern California, and I was able to play high school and play college in that area. And I was able to go to Whittier College, Division III, a water polo school that has a very competitive Division I schedule. And it was definitely that blend of what I was looking for. So it really kind of tailors to my liking of coaching at that Division III level. And then from there, I was able to go coach at the college or the high school and club level. And then I was able to get to Austin College last year out in Dallas, Texas, and coached there for a year as an assistant coach with Mark Lawrence. And then that was able to put me in a position to be qualified for this position here. And I was able to get on campus August 20th this fall. So it was a really exciting time.
They threw you right in there, right?
Yeah.
Right, a couple weeks before the athletes get back.
2 days. 2 days. It was nice.
Excellent. So tell me a little about how do athletes get recruited? How should they promote themselves? Give me a little bit of better understanding.
Yeah. So for me, my kind of number one rule is really reach out to these coaches and don't be disappointed in if you don't hear back right away. It's really about making sure that there's the consistency of showing that you're interested in not only our water polo program, but our academic institution as a whole. And for me, it's all about making sure that you guys find the right fit for you guys as an individual. Right, making sure that you guys are choosing your school based on your academic fit, as well as having water polo be the cherry on top. With the process, we usually start our process around the beginning of their junior year. And for that, gives us a little bit of time to allow our athletes or MIT prospective student athletes specifically to get maybe a PSAT or some sort of test score under their belt to really kind of gauge their academic preparedness for the academic rigor that we have. So kind of what it'll look like is we'll jump on the phone for the fall of your junior year and really try to give you guys as much information about our program and at our institution as we can. And following that, we will try to get you in the spring on campus in the springtime of your junior year to really get a good idea or good gauge of if this is the right environment for you and if you feel that this is something that you want to pursue as well. And then that summer in between your junior and senior year, we'll really try to get to a couple games and try to make sure that we continue to build this relationship via email, phone calls, face-to-face games, all of that stuff. And then in the fall of your senior year, we'll really try to get you on campus for an official visit to really try to get a better understanding of the gentleman on campus and kind of vibe with the team and really see if this is lock in if this is a good fit for you. From a MIT specific standpoint, we have our athletes actually apply as regular students. So you'll apply around that November deadline for EA, and then our December deadline for regular decision. And then kind of gauging from there, once you hear back, kind of dictates how our conversations will go.
Excellent. You talked a little bit about getting on phone conversations with athletes. I'm sure that there's a lot of different ways to communicate with athletes. But speaking of a traditional phone call, how would you recommend an athlete prepare for a potential phone conversation with the coach?
Yeah, for me, being at MIT and being an academics first institution, I really enjoy having the phone calls with students that really do their research on their interest of study and really kind of ask me some of those in-depth questions that I might not even know about just yet. Right, making me kind of ask my assistant coaches or my kids on campus, some of the intricacies of what they're going through in everyday life, and really seeing that the individual is really prepared for what they're doing. Right, I think if they're doing their research and asking me some of these in-depth questions, it really shows that they're interested in not only just our water polo program, but the institution as a whole, and it really helps kind of give me a gauge of really what their priorities are and where they see themselves being successful.
Excellent. So having come through the coaching club ranks in Southern California, and you said your experience at Austin College, how do high school coaches and club coaches, how do they play a role in helping these athletes get noticed?
Yeah, so in that regard, I think a lot of it comes from the message that they're sending. And I think a lot of the message needs to be that there is a program for everybody. There is definitely a program in the country for everybody. And it's about making sure that we continue to emphasize finding the right fit academically and as the individual. And I think with these high school and club coaches, they have the best insight of these athletes and where they feel that they would be successful. And I think that having them help navigate that process of maybe being a little bit more realistic in terms of where their academic fit or where they might be successful at as an individual to help navigate and push them towards that process.
Right. Excellent. Yes, because, MIT is academically one of the more challenging, probably one of the most challenging schools in the country to get into. I'm sure that Caltech and Harvard probably say differently, but those types of select schools academically, are very very challenging for athletes to.
Absolutely, and for us, we're definitely looking for the right individual. We really want our athletes to be successful on campus just as much as we want them to be successful in the pool. We feel that their everyday life and making sure that their mental health is very important. And I think putting an emphasis on that and making sure that it's the right fit for them to really grow into themselves is key. And we emphasize that every day.
Excellent. So what are some of the characteristic traits you think coaches are looking for when they're talking to a PSA? What are some of the things that they want to hear or they're looking at particularly for it, and in a program like MIT as well?
Yeah, I know for my specific viewpoint, my job is to coach, right? I feel like I can do a lot of that player development, but I really want to see some of those intangibles that really make them good individuals. So I'm a big culture guy. So I tell my every potential student athlete that I'll sacrifice talent for character any day of the week. I really want good teammates. So a couple things that I look for are really just that effort level, that 110% effort in everything you do, that accountability, making sure that you're being able to take accountability for your actions, being a good teammate, right? Being respectful, really trying to work on not only building yourself up, but building each other up and really trying to grow as a whole. And then the last one is having a willingness to learn. I think if you come in thinking that you know everything about water polo, then it's just going to be us butting heads and it's going to be a 4-year headache. But I think if these athletes have that willingness to take feedback from not only their coaches, but from their teammates, from their peers or colleagues or anybody in that realm, really helps and shows that they want to grow and continuing to mold into what they see themselves going into.
So with the COVID-19 outbreak and the loss for some larger tournaments that were scheduled to happen this summer and are now being postponed or even canceled for certain times of the year, what should a PSA do to be seen?
Yeah. So for me, a lot of just communication via email, phone calls, starting to do the Zoom email or Zoom conversations. So I'm getting comfortable with that. For a PSA, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but I think making sure that you send video, but not necessarily video clips of your top 5 goals that you've scored in your career, but really finding a game that you felt that you flowed with or you gelled in and felt that you played very successful in, because we really want to see that tempo of the game. We really want to see how you operate within and see some of that small stuff, some of that tiny kind of tactical and technical things that we really look for, rather than just watching you being able to finish the ball. So I think to counteract not having these games during the summer, really trying to find some of these game film, whether that be a half or a full game, and really trying to send those and really allowing us to kind of get that better sense as if we were on deck watching.
Right. So can you give me some common misconceptions about the recruiting process? Your experience at Austin, now your experience at MIT, both obviously very different schools, but you've been at it for a number of years. Do you think you have any misconceptions that the athletes might have or parents that might have about the process in general?
Yeah, I mean, so the biggest one that I see is every athlete wants to play Division I water polo, and that's an amazing goal, and I think everybody should have that goal. But I think a misconception is the Division II and Division III levels are just as competitive as the Division I level. And for us specifically at MIT, we're in a Division I conference with some of the Ivy Leagues, St. Francis and Iona. And so we feel that we're a Division III water polo program by rule, but we're really trying to create that Division I mentality and that Division I culture and the way we attack the game and practice and everything in between. So I think that a misconception is not necessarily looking at one level of school or one level of water polo, but really opening up your vision or your spectrum to really look at the whole picture and really find, again, your best fit based on your academic success and where you feel that you best thrive in that environment. So I know a lot of kids really try to force and push that issue of really trying to find a Division I school, and often overlook some of these other great institutions with great coaches, and can really thrive at those institutions.
Perfect. So if you have an athlete, there's the PSA that's watching this video, and they're interested in MIT or they're interested in another university, what should they do? What should their first step be?
Yeah, so the first step is definitely to send an email and to fill out our questionnaire. And that way we can continue to see your name come across our not only emails, but everything under the sun. So for me, if I see your name once, like I'll try to respond to it right away. But during these busy times, the more I see your name, the more I'm willing and more apt to respond to you a little bit more quickly, or will remember you through this process. So don't be discouraged right away, but making sure that you follow up and continuing to show your interest of not only our institution, but other schools and other programs throughout the country. And then from that, I think making sure that you try to be genuine throughout the process, making sure that you really are really trying to create that relationship with the coach, and really trying to show them your genuinity of where you are and what you see yourself doing in the future.
Excellent. Well, this has been head coach Austin Ringheim from the men's team at MIT, giving us more information about the college recruiting process. This is Damon Newman from American Water Polo. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, at our website, AmericanWaterPolo.org. Remember, it's important to stay connected to what's important to you. Thanks a lot, Austin.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Damon. Appreciate it.
No problem.